Are live, and welcome to GenX Journeys, everybody, where we embrace the past, honor the present, and build the future. Before we get started, I always like to begin with something I'm grateful for. And today I'm grateful for an incredible weekend I just had. I had the opportunity to travel to Philadelphia and be part of the Guinness Book of World Records. Um, it was, we made an attempt to break the record of most authors simultaneously signing a book. Shattered that record. The previous record was 126. We had 142, and it was such a cool event. It was a great networking event, and the record setting part that was a blast. Uh, it was a British guy from Guinness was there, and he told us what was going on, and it was all official. They came around the tables, checking, see we were all valid, and they were watching us sign the books, and they tallied it up at the end and made the big announcement. It was a big party afterwards, or blast of music, dancing, having a blast, and the whole weekend was great. I met some awesome people, and it was just so great connecting, and that's yeah, it was just inspiring, and I can't even explain how great it was. And we shared stories, made new friends, and we also had time to had a chance to spend time with my niece who goes to temple, so she doesn't get too many visitors down there. So my girlfriend and I went and we spent the afternoon with her the next day, and that was a blast. So it was just such a meaningful weekend, and I'm glad to be back. And then on top of that, I got back, and then I went for my long run yesterday, staying dedicated, training for this marathon. So let's see, and we can bring on today's guest. He knows a thing or two about unexpected twists and second acts. Greg Amici is a singer-songwriter whose creative journey took a surprising detour. After vocal injury and long hiatus from music, he eventually found his way back to the art form that has always been a part of who he was. Today, he's creating some truly unique music that blends influences, genres, humor, storytelling, and life experience into something entirely his own. Welcome to GenX Journeys.
Thanks, Paul. Great to see you.
And before we dive into your story, I always ask my guests the same question: What are you grateful for today?
Didn't take me long to think about this one. As we had spoken earlier about my recent collapse of two knees to torn quadricep tendons, which has got me basically got out of the hospital and rehab only a few weeks ago. And since then, progress has been gradual, but I'm making progress, better angles on the using the knee and everything. And the reason I'm grateful is not for that happening, but for the fact that all in the when it first happened, what happens? I had one knee collapse in February. Then I thought I was okay with it, and I started going down a staircase in April, and both knees collapsed, and the one opened up, and blood, bone everywhere. And I'm grateful for the fact that I survived because if my
Yeah.
my significant other hadn't put a tourniquet on it, I might have bled out, or worse, I might have had brain damage from being deprived of that much blood. So I'm grateful to be alive. That's an easy one.
Oh yeah, wow. You've been through a lot,
Yeah.
and your recovery's going well. You doing
Yeah.
physical therapy and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was probably a little cavalier the first time around because I'm used to having tons of injuries, but nothing that was going to impede my lifestyle as much as this because it's having one of them I can still get around. Two of
Yeah,
them, it's really tough. And the thing is, the progress is going better, I think, than they expected. But until I'm normal again, it could be a year, until I can do everything I want to do again. But you know what? I get a lot of other stuff done in the meantime. Music's doing real well. I'm real happy with where I'm at with that. Even though I'm not gigging, I'll start gigging around July, I think. And so life is good. And the recovery is going a little better than planned because it's like I said, it's not an easy one. I'm getting good, able to get to like 90 degrees right now with both knees, which is pretty good at the point I'm at.
yeah, yeah. It's important to also the doctors because as a runner, I've had some injuries, and then I've you know gone on my own without therapy, and end up making it worse, and then I have to.
We both learned that lesson.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, but I'm sort of it might have happened anyway because I did do all the rehab I was supposed to do, but I just was like confident that I could take a step on a circular staircase and with a cup of coffee in one hand,
Oh,
and
geez.
that was a mistake. Because I'd been able to do it a week before, or a couple days before, so I tried it again this time. So that's what I mean by being cavalier, not about I worked hard on the rehab even there. I thought it
Mhm.
was so good that I was good.
Right. Yeah. 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 That can definitely happen. But yeah, I'm glad you're on the road to recovery. It seems to be going well, so
Oh,
that's
great.
good. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Uh, so yeah, let's get like a little bit of backstory with where you grew up, music you listened to, how it all influenced you.
Back where I started, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Not actually where I started. I started in Nutley when I was an infant, but I moved a couple of times. Most of my youth was spent in East Brunswick, which is central Jersey, very suburban community. And I started getting into music with friends of mine. I really started digging music when I was around 12 years old, and they had a birthday party for me, a surprise party, and everybody brought albums. So that was the first time I really got addicted to albums. And then, after getting totally into the rock thing, The Who, especially, I was just thinking the other day, Tommy's probably my all-time favorite album. So then I got started working with some friends, local friends in a band, and we wound up calling it Clergy. And this was in our late teens now. And, I learned from that. I learned that I had to write better lyrics for one. And then it dovetailed into another band called Junk, and that was a little more alternative than the first one, which was sort of just straight rock. And then when I went to New York, I got back into it I finally was confident after years of just playing solo gigs because I had never been that, guitar, I was never confident on guitar and singing. So I forced myself to get confident on it and I started doing it. And then I had a partner who was there very soon doing backing vocals and also playing guitar. Then we formed a band called Big Honey, which had a run of like potential success. Then I got a polyp on my vocal cord at a CMJ music festival, which at the time was a kind of a big to do. And I'm singing, and all of a sudden, when the lower register, I'm kind of croaking, and I masked it. And afterwards, the next couple of days, I'm challenging myself. Can I? And each time it would happen. So I saw first doctor I saw said do vocal rest, and I did for 3 or 4 months. I didn't say anything, and I had a palimpsest with me with the girl I was living with, writing things down, and whoever else I talked to, I had to write it down on the thing.
Uh,
And by the time I recovered, the band was no longer together. So, and then I'm sorry, then I had surgery eventually. That went perfect. That was great. I mean, he did a great job. And then by then the band was gone. So that was the end of music up until 2019.
uh, so before that, you had the polyps. Did you feel like the music was becoming your future? Were you plan on making a career of that, or were you
But
just going?
I still thought that. I still had high aspirations. Already it was still in the 90s. You could be whatever I was, 33, and still have something happening. It wasn't quite to the when the boy bands came out and seemed simultaneously anyone over the age of 18 was pretty much finished for a major label. So I thought we had we're good and the people dug our music. But it was tough because in New York, you have to get people out to your gigs on the weeknights because that's when agents or lawyers will come down. And that road started to get rough because New York's kind of a hassle if you're working until 7 o'clock and then you're supposed to come over to a friend's gig. So uh, we were building a following and we were having a great time and a lot of people liked us. And we did about 2 years of playing out and recording. We recorded demos. At the time, they were demos. It was hard to make a home studio like a radio ready recording.
Mhm.
And then we got that. It was good that we just even got that gig with CMJ. That used to be like a really prominent thing from College Music Journal magazine. That's when it struck.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. And then yeah, and then like you said, you took years. So how long? How many years was it? Was
Well, I had some opportunities as a writer to go out to California and I'd acted. So I went out to LA not long after that. And I was out there and I just left music behind me because I wasn't going to try to put together a new band. And I was surviving out there. So I concentrated on the writing and getting the occasional acting gig. And then when I came back here, I had some money, and I came back to take care of my parents. Like the last, well, first I went to get my master's in Brooklyn College in English Lit. Then my parents were ailing. This is around 2008. It was also a convenient time to come back. So I took care of them as well, going back and forth. And then when they really things got difficult, I was here full time. And then, they passed and I inherited the house. So I'm back where I started. Oh, so the 16 years in between was is acting, writing, and just doing my best to survive, working, bouncing gigs and teaching some martial arts and stuff like that to get by. It was not that lucrative. Although
right.
bouncing, if they weren't, sometimes bouncing could be lucrative.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Um, yeah. So you did write. Was it writing scripts, or are you talking
Yeah.
music or scripts, or yeah?
Oh, I'd written screenplays and teleplays, and I had a manager. He became my manager. He was a friend who had a lot of money, and he sponsored me out in LA because he thought I was, really had it. God bless him. And then once I was out there, I started doing things at UCLA and entering contests and stuff like that. And I won some. And so because of that, I got agents. All of a sudden, you get flooded with requests to meet up with agents and producers and stuff like that. So I did the whole thing like that. And we had a TV show that was getting pitched, two TV shows that got pitched to networks and to cable stations. But it was like Seinfeld when George, I don't know if you saw if you saw Seinfeld when George and Jerry like were pitching their thing, and it was you just people will look at you and tell you how great you are, and then they call your agent and say that pitch wasn't very good, really.
Jeez.
So you had those kind of experiences. And to tell you the truth, by the time the market crashed and things were getting tough and my parents were getting, I was ready to leave. I'd had my
Mhm.
fill. And to get back, I just at that point was so into just doing getting the masters, which I wasn't going to use for anything. I just loved doing it.
Yeah.
And and then after that, that's when I started thinking about music again.
Yeah, because you're still being creative and you're accessing
Yeah,
that creative part of your brain and everything. And
yeah, never
yeah.
stop that. Never, you can't. You have the tape recorder next to you or whatever tape recorder. You have your phone you're always recording your ideas, and then eventually you want to do something with them. So, oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, so that yeah, was it anything in particular that music tried to pull you back?
Well,
Or was it just a gradual thing or
no,
what?
it was a specific thing. I was acting in a movie called Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story. And I've always, whenever I got acting gigs, it was mainly because somebody knew me from music or from writing. And in this
Mhm.
case, I worked on a spec script for the director, Danny Abacatzer, and he was doing that movie. And I said, I act too. So I auditioned, got a role, a small role, and I said, I do music too. So I had this idea for a song for the show. It was a basketball story, and it was called "Spin That Ball," and it was largely metaphorical, but also based on the story. And I thought we did, because I went to James Mastro, who I'd known for years, and we did it, and I thought it was great. And so after that, there was this character in the movie called Jennifer, and I'd been wanting to do a cover of this Burt Summers song called Jennifer back from the Woodstock era. And that I thought went great. So after that, I was addicted. It didn't get in the movie. Nothing got in the movie except my brief performance. But it got me to the point where I was like, I can't go back now. This is paradise for me.
Hmm. Yep, yep. And yeah, so you kind of felt like now the music is like a part of my identity,
I
kind
don't
of.
understand how I let it go for so long, in a way. But I was doing use, like I said, I was using other tools. But you finally realize, because I was always, jack of all trades, master, No, I don't know if I was master of any. But I finally realized that the trade I really wanted, because with music, you write a song, you record a song, and you distribute a song, and it doesn't cost all that much. If I'm going to write a movie and I want to do it myself, I got to find investors, and that's a nightmare. So just the pragmatic and pragmatically, it was the way to go, but spiritually too. I mean, I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Great
Uh,
people I was working with. That's part of the reason why.
hmm You know what? That's kind of what happened with me with writing when I was 10 years old and I was writing short stories, and then I ended up by high school I was falling away from it, and the same thing with running. I did cross country in high school as the cross country captain, and I kind of fell away from that. I'd run once in a while to try to lose weight, and then all of a sudden, probably around 2010, I started blogging and I started writing, and then the more I was writing, and then it was all coming back, and it's like, oh,
It's there
I
for
can't
you.
avoid this.
Yeah, and it's there for you. I mean, that's the good
Yep,
thing about the internet. It's giving everybody a lot of opportunities.
yeah,
Hell, I'm never going to sign with a major label, and I wouldn't even want to if they wanted me, or even I don't think I want to sign with any label because at least this way, whatever I do, I'm in control of it. And so that's why the podcasts are great. You're in control of it, and then you can expose your material. I think it's fantastic.
yep, definitely, yeah, yeah. You have control over your own stuff, and yeah. Oh, speaking of which, you released an album. Was the last year the Tragicomic?
You hear that? Oh my God, I don't know what's going on.
Somebody
I
moving furniture.
no, but I'm glad you don't hear it. It's a lawnmower. I didn't know we had garbage
Oh.
today. Sorry, what was the last question?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah, we'll get into your new album. Did that come out last year, the Tragic Comic?
Yeah, Tragicomic came out in June of 2025. It was a long process in making it, mainly because, that's another thing. When you put yourself out there, you got to have all your ducks in a row. And I was very confident that I thought it was good music, but I just wanted to record more. At that point, I also just wanted to record and record and record. So I would have, all my songs because I've written so many. I wanted a big catalog full of really wonderfully performed songs. And finally, the guys are going, "Hey, listen, you got two albums already worth of material. Get one out." And so that's what motivated me to, at that point to really work it. And so glad I did. I mean, those guys were right. It was silly for me to to not expose it. That's what I wanted eventually to do anyway. I just thought I wasn't thinking straight about that business wise, and they got me to do it. And it's been a great ride, just like getting opportunities like this, and to the people. Hopefully, maybe a couple people will actually listen to some music. Getting hits on the internet, getting gigs, which unfortunately I've had to cancel because of the situation I'm in. But I'm looking forward to jumping up and doing it again. And and the one thing I know is I got from fellow musicians, like really good musicians, they respect me, and that to me is that's enough to keep me going to do more.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even think of that. That's another thing. You had to start over again, finding new band members. So what was that like?
Well, again, through James Mastro as a producer and Ray Ketchum, it was my engineer, and he also owned the studio. And these guys are well connected. Jim is with a band, a well-known band called the Bongos, and a bass player was from Patti Smith's band. So the networking, the unintentional networking, made it possible for me to get in touch with really good musicians. And I'm not trying to get them to be, in my rock band. I'm hiring them, but they're especially during COVID, they were really available. But since like it is, they have a combination of getting paid, but they also like the stuff. So I've had the opportunity to work with great musicians. So that kind of pulled me up in terms of what we were doing too. I was confident in what they brought to the table, and they did, I think, phenomenal job. So it wasn't that hard once I got the first right person around me, which was James Mastro.
Oh, that's great. Um, yeah, and I've told you before, I love every song on that album. I love your sound. I don't, I when we talked before, trying to figure out what genre it is rock, but I was thinking, oh, maybe it sounds like it could be like alternative rock. Like we had a station here in Rhode Island called WBRU, and yeah, they played alternative music. It's like stuff that wouldn't be on like the classic rock station, but not pop either. It was its own. It was a great station, and I love that. And I feel like that's where your music would live.
Yeah, well, that would be great because I mean it is tricky because I'm between genres, you know.
Yeah.
I'm rock, but not like there's some things that are more adventurous in terms of even the way we the production. So that takes you into more alternative territory, but I'm not like real alternative rock guy, like because well, I guess I would be at this point because alternative rock no longer means alternative rock is just slightly different from classic rock at this point.
Right.
I think
Hmm.
real alternative rock is they have different genres for that, and then there's so many type names for those things. I don't even know what they are. But I'm somewhere between classic and alternative rock, and some of the songs have some pop elements, little jazz here and there. So it's it's you heard it. It's like a you're right, and the songs are not all the same. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And
thank you,
I
thank you for
yeah.
listening.
Yeah, I'm really loving what No Fool like
Did you
no
see the
Fool
video?
that yeah I love the video. It's great. Yeah, I should put it in the show notes. I think yeah, especially Gen Xers will love that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the hope. The hope, and
uh
yeah, that was a blast doing so. And that song was yeah, that's sort of that's when it edges on more on almost hard rock, which
Yeah, yeah. And this you have it's very I feel like it's very smartly written. It's funny, but yeah, it's not like Weird Al like that, but they're
yeah.
very clever, funny lyrics and everything that we can relate to.
Well, thanks. I mean, it's it's tragicomic. The stories, if you look deep into some of them, there's horror at the bottom, but on the you try to keep it, you try to keep it at least a dramedy. You want it to have. You just don't want it. It's a drag when people get too serious with this stuff, and so you have to have that element, but you don't want to write about nothing either. So it's finding that that happy medium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you really do a great job with that. So
So
yeah,
much.
I'm really hoping people discover you because it's great. So
Right on, right on.
uh, as far as especially for Gen Xers, yeah, a lot of us put like our dreams on hold. Like I was telling you about, like with my writing and running, and but a lot of people they have put their dreams on hold while they're raising families or building careers because you feel like you have to go to school, get a job, and stick with that job, and then they're not living their dream, and just surviving life. So, what would you say to someone who wonders if it's too late to return to something that you loved?
Well, for me, it wasn't, but the circumstances have to be right too. I'm now with someone who has two adult kids. I
Mhm.
haven't had kids. I missed that experience. You don't realize that until you're older. I was kind of selfish, I was, doing what I wanted to do and a free spirit. And then it's sometimes, like, well, I would have liked to have kids. I would have liked to have done that, but I sacrificed that. So I would say you're kind of choosing between what's the most important to you. If family is most important, do it as a hobby. If your family's cool with it, your kids are growing up, and you don't have, instead of just getting bored, then really go to your passion and spend a lot of time on that. It can be
Mhm.
done, but you have to have and you have to feel. I really think if you're going to try to do anything that takes that much time, you have to feel like you're obsessed with it, and there's no alternative. That's
Mhm.
so I'd say unless you have that kind of thing, and not to make it, but to make the stuff,
Right.
or whatever it is, you have to have that kind of like I can't do anything else. Now I can do it because I have time to do it. But if you have a family, that's still always first.
Yep. Oh, very well said. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point too. You want to do something because you love it and you're passionate about it. You don't go do it because you think it'll make you money. So,
Oh
because
God, it'll just especially if you find out you have to find out along the way how good you are. Because if you're not good, you'll hear enough of that if you get your stuff out there that you're really not good, or that you realize it yourself. You come to the self-realization that you're not going to provide the world with something that has not been done before, which of course none of us are, but at least you have to have that going with that attitude, like I've got to do this. So
hmm
and like I said, but not at the cost of family. I would have,
Yep.
if I had to do it over again, I would have committed to that. I probably would have done more of the straight life, in the straight life in the sense that I was more pre-law. I probably would have done that. And then I would have, because you realize at the time when I'm like 18 years old, you're like, well, George Harrison made it when he was 15 years old. I'm already getting too old. By
Mm,
the time you're 30, you're like, nobody's making it 30 anymore. The time you're 40, it's like, I'm done. By the time you go on and on. So then if you really look at it that way, then at the end, if you're still doing it, it's because you love it.
right. Yep.
Because
Yep.
all those other things are out. So you're not gonna fool anybody now. You're not gonna say, oh, I'm actually only 43. It's that, but the people know the truth. So yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I could just tell by your music that you're having a blast doing that. So yeah,
Great points. The
yeah,
great, I love. I'm very fortunate to have a very supportive woman, and their kids, are great too. So it's a happy family. But she does her thing. She trades, and she's glued to her computer all day. And then she knows I'm going to be doing music based stuff and a little longer into the evening. But we have really good rapport with that because otherwise that might be a problem too.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we get some fun stuff here. What was your first concert? What was it, Frampton?
No, no. It was the Beach Boys at Madison Square Garden in 19, God, that might have been even 76. Yeah, it was the end of 1976. The Beach Boys at Madison Square Garden. My friend was a Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys too. I still do. But that was the first one I went to, and it was such a cool experience. I was like, wow. So I started getting tickets to every concert after that. But that was the first one, and it was when Brian Wilson just came back to the band and he wasn't exactly in great voice, and Dennis Wilson wasn't exactly in great voice either because they'd been going. This is when they were in their toughest of times. But overall, it was the Beach Boys. The,
Yeah, the music,
the
man.
harmonies
Yeah,
covered everything.
right. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Who's this is something now that I am a singer right here. Who's one artist that you would want to sing with or share a single with?
Wow, they're still alive. That's
Oh, either way, yeah, yeah.
okay. It's funny because they had one of those adult music camps, and Roger Daltrey was one of the people doing it, and I was so tempted to do it because the Who is my ultimate band. I mean, so that probably would have been who I would most want to be on stage with. Obviously, the Beatles if they were around, maybe Frank Sinatra, but more realistically, not even realistically, but more how I think it would be the being on stage with the Who and maybe playing Cousin Kevin or something like that because they had that where they had guest stars on one of their tours playing the different roles in Tommy. That
Right. Oh,
I played Cousin Kevin. That's like would have been my fantasy.
wow.
Yeah,
I love that.
perfect, perfect. Good show.
Um, see, looking back now, what do you know at? Oh, we didn't even say
64.
we. Well,
64.
hmm?
We say 64 if that's what you're going to say.
Yeah,
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 I'm not hiding it. So
yeah,
finish
yeah.
finish the question.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even look it. So if people,
Thank you.
yeah, if people are just listening, yeah, you don't look at it at all. Um, what, what are you doing now that Greg at 24 couldn't possibly have understood? Like, what advice basically would you give?
Wow. A if I had to go back, like I said, I would have don't feel you have all that pressure on you to do this now.
Mhm.
You're not the times have changed. Unless you're an 18-year-old beautiful girl, you're really probably not getting signed to a major label, no matter how good your music is. You're going to be doing a lot yourself. I say to younger people, if you can't get backers or if you're not well off, really learn the game inside out. Learn how to record, play several instruments, set everything up so you can make your own album at home. Do it yourself, or if you have access to investors and you're not like that, because I could never have done that. You get them really make that a point because it's not like it was when I was a kid. There was still a chance that somebody would discover you. That no longer happens. So to a 24-year-old, if you're saying what I regret back then is I also I didn't have the I didn't have the ability to take criticism all that well. I wasn't I'm still not. That's always, I guess, I think that's one of the main reasons why I've struggled in entertainment for so long is because somebody 20 people tell me their song's great, and then the 21st tells me, that affects me. So I don't have thick
Yeah.
skin. And I've really worked to build it because, if you don't, you're finished. But even when I see like on Instagram, someone, all of a sudden somebody will say some nasty thing about me. They don't know me. And I'm just like,
Right.
one guy said, like, yeah, he thinks he's a bald Elvis Presley. I don't know where that came from. And why would you say that? It's not like I'm not, what are you envying about me?
It just shows what's going on in their own heads that, yeah, they're projecting something.
And I didn't even, I think I did erase him, but you know, but
That's hilarious.
you have to accept it, and so at this point, like I said, it's also when you're early, you don't care anymore as much, it's whatever
Mhm.
happens, happens. So all that combined make my skin thicker. But that was my biggest thing. I did not, I had thin skin. I was hurt a lot when people, said something or weren't into it or something like that.
Mhm.
And if I had to do over, I wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I'm curious. Well, what are your thoughts about streaming these days? Like, do you think is it tougher? Do you think to make it because there's so many people that can upload their music, or
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
or is it a good thing that you can get it out there?
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, first of all, there are a lot of good unknown artists out there. Sometimes you're thinking, "Hey, they didn't make it because they're no good. They're not great." No, there's a lot of great people whose music you'll never hear. That is sad, and yet it's great that they have the opportunity, with a little foresight to put it on the internet. So that's a great opportunity. However, because the pool is so large, and this was the biggest problem with screenplay, once you had the ability to final draft and stuff like that, everybody's a screenwriter. So when you're trying to get people to read it, I mean, agents in Hollywood, managers and producers, they would read the first line of your thing, or maybe all the way through, they'd read one line, and that's because they're swamped with stuff, and a lot of it is not good, especially in that field. But then again, that's why you get bumped off a lot by the ones who are just in it because it's easier to be in it, and others are overlooked. But at least you have that opportunity. And again, if you're just willing to keep going, then you can get by that. So it's really a double-edged sword.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, hopefully people listen to this will go and check
Everybody,
you out.
give me a hit on the internet. Go to you.
So how can people find you? How do like
Uh,
people connect with you?
Well, it's my website has the link tree to everything, and it has a lot of information and interviews and music videos. And it's called gregamici.com, GregAmici.com. Or you can check me out. The easiest thing too is probably just go to put Greg Amici YouTube on, and you'll see like 20 videos.
Yeah.
Do either. You know, hopefully they'll check it out. It's just nice that people even if they don't, oh, if you can comment, boy, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
It looks great when you have comments. So that I wouldn't tell people not to do that unless it's like you're a bald Elvis Presley.
Right, exactly.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. Yeah, definitely check out the videos. Yeah, I love them. And
Okay?
then I'll also add links in the show notes and
Fantastic.
whatnot. All
Fantastic.
right. Um, yeah, so I'll wrap things up now.
Well,
And
I want to
yeah.
say one more thing if I can.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
I want to I want to vote this. This is wonderful. I contribute to what is the, now I'm slipping my mind the thing for 9/11 people, not toys,
Oh.
the the organization for tunnels to
Oh,
towers.
Tunnel Towers. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually wearing a shirt.
Yeah, I love those guys, and they do a great job. So tunnels to towers, and this reminds me of it. As you say on the
Yeah.
back, it's all going to good causes for
Yeah.
ex-military, and so I think it's a great book. There's the title. I guess it's coming in backwards because I'm doing it this way, but
Oh, nope, nope, it's coming in straight. Yeah. Oh, and for anybody who's listening to audio, Greg was holding up my Born to Risk book that I was. It's an anthology, and
great
it's the
stories,
inaugural Veterans Edition. So, yep,
great
it's 30
stories.
veterans.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah,
please get
yeah,
it.
yeah. And yeah, so at that event that we went to this past weekend, there were several of us from that book that were there as well. So, yeah, yeah. I really appreciate your support. I just
Oh,
want to thank you
always.
so much for that too. Yeah,
No, no, my pleasure.
yeah. Yeah, so thank you for that, and thank you for taking time to come on here.
Thanks, Paul. It was fun. It was a lot of fun talking to you. Great guy, and I had a good time as usual. So it's just good having that conversation. I really appreciate it. And if somebody does click on something by Greg Amici, I won't not appreciate that.
Definitely, yep. So definitely check him out, and thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. If I can figure out how to shut this off.